The film starts with Deirdre clad in her headset, sitting in her housetop garden, a sanctuary of vibrant hues adorned with stunning flowers and fragrant scents. She is lost in a blissful state of creative flow as she sketches her dream garden design, bringing her artistic soul to life. However, Shauna, her roommate, calls her name, interrupting her. She breaks the incredible news that Deirdre has secured an interview at the coveted Rooftop Dreams as Shauna approaches, brimming with excitement. Deirdre can barely understand the news and shouts in sheer joy. Shauna uncovers that the meeting is planned for the following day. As she kisses her roommate, gathers her belongings, and makes her way to the coffee shop, where she works as a skilled barista, Deirdre's happiness reaches its peak. Deirdre expertly prepares coffee and instructs her new coworker in the art of coffee making in the bustling coffee shop, which is where the action shifts. Deirdre checks the clock and asks her coworkers for help in preparing a corto, a task she handles with finesse when her boss asks if it's time for her crush to arrive. In the meantime, at Sky Events, Marcus shadows Valencia, his boss, works diligently. Taking notes on the main jobs, he briefs Valencia on the profound plunge he led on Gwen Cam's impending wedding. Whenever Valencia asks about the central issues, Marcus shares that the couple met quite a while back at the celebration of the desert, and have been indistinguishable from that point forward. They are looking for a planning company because they value their privacy and trust. Their vision for the wedding reflects their love of nature. Deirdre's coworker asks her if he's handsome in the cozy coffee shop because she can't help but be curious about her crush. Deirdre admits, with a twinkle in her eye, that ever since she first saw him, she has started calling him the cute suit. They share a chuckle, a snapshot of fellowship. Marcus appears like a vision just at that moment. He hands Deirdre his credit card and takes the coffee from her hand. Their smiles meet and they silently communicate their mutual understanding. Deirdre is left in awe of Marcus's undeniable beauty and irresistible charm after he leaves. Afterward, back at the workplace, Marcus enters Valencia's office with a steaming mug of espresso close by. Valencia is on a phone call related to his job. Marcus returns to his office looking depressed, but before he does, he tells Jacob that she is busy. Jacob doesn't back down and says he's willing to wait. They sit next to Marcus and have a conversation with Jacob. They ask Marcus if he will be at the party. Marcus, absorbed in his work, regretfully declines. Citing his workload, Jacob mentions the open position of new manager, suggesting that the hire will likely be internal. Marcus smiles knowingly, a glimmer of anticipation in his eyes, before Jacob heads into Valencia's office, only to be promptly shown the door. As night falls, Marcus is with his fiancée, Wendy. Preparing for his interview, he rehearses his speech, determined to get the attention of those who make decisions. Wendy interjects, offering him some guidance on the best way to convey his contemplations really. She fervently supports him in front of Valencia because she is convinced that he is the best candidate. As he expresses his affection for her, Marcus's heart flutters with gratitude for her support. Deirdre and Shauna, on the other hand, are having dinner together in the living room. They examine Deirdre's impending meeting for a truly amazing job. Deirdre feels encouraged by Shauna's words of encouragement. Retuning to Marcus and Wendy, they talk about the last preparations. As he declares his love for Wendy, they share a moment of intimacy as he thanks her for her unwavering support. They anticipate a prosperous future together, with Marcus's promotion serving as the pivotal moment in their next chapter together. In the following scene, Deirdre and Shauna carry on their discussion, ringing glasses in a toast. Shauna says that Deirdre's recent life decisions, like breaking up with her boyfriend, are finally paying off. Deirdre, however, interrupts and assures herself that everything will be fine as she gets ready for the upcoming interview. Determined to go with her gut and do her best. The following morning, Marcus remains before the mirror, pumping himself up with self-affirmation as he readies himself for the day filled with hope for a long-awaited promotion. Deirdre, on the other hand, prepares for her interview by ardently praising flowers and their vibrant hues and striving to achieve the ideal balance in her dream garden. She proudly shows the interviewer her sketches. The interviewer takes them in with a genuine smile and marvels at Deirdre's vision and potential, which makes Deirdre happy. Unfortunately, the interviewer reveals that Deirdre needs more experience and lacks formal training in architecture or design, shattering her hopes and leaving her dejected as she leaves the office, burdened by missed opportunities. Afterward, Marcus is in his office when Jacob shows up inquiring about Valencia. She is absent and will be attending a meeting, Marcus informs him. Later, Jacob is surprised by Marcus's ease with which he can handle multiple responsibilities. Marcus excuses himself, stating that he needs to leave and proceeding immediately to the coffee shop. He realizes that his coffee is not yet ready as he enters. Deirdre rushes to prepare Marcus's order due to pressure, but she trips and spills the entire cup on his suit as she approaches him. Deirdre sincerely apologizes, but Marcus's anger rises. He storms out of the room frustrated after telling her that her apology won't save his ruined suit. Back at the workplace, Marcus searches out Valencia for their gathering, yet she excuses him, demanding she can't work without her core to do. Marcus was shocked and enraged by the turn of events when she left with Jacob to get at herself. At the point when Marcus shows up back at his home, he is met with the shock organized by Wendy, who had assumed his advancement as an inevitable outcome. In any case, reality ends up being a long way from what she had expected. Marcus questions the rationale behind setting up a festival before his real advancement, particularly after discovering that Wendy has proactively welcomed their companions, which just adds to his uneasiness. He is reassured by Wendy, who promises to politely ask their friends to leave. The resulting scene unfurls, with Deirdre and Shauna immersed in a round of Scrabble. Deirdre mourns about her terrible meeting and how she isn't the best competitor. Even though Shauna has a bachelor's degree in English, she encourages her to see the bright side and perform better. Deirdre discusses her unfortunate encounter with the adorable suit in her subsequent interview, describing his furious expression as he stormed off. Shauna even offers to buy Deirdre a cup of coffee and suggests that he visit his workplace to apologize. Following all of the preparations they had made for Marcus' promotion, Wendy confronts Marcus about his perceived failure in the following scene, expressing disappointment. Marcus defends himself, claiming that he did not spill coffee on himself out of frustration. However, Wendy continues to place blame on him and urges him to improve and succeed, despite her exhaustion. Marcus responds, pointing out that people who are in love support one another. However, Wendy's words are piercing as she tells him that she will not be able to build a future with someone who does not have confidence in himself. Marcus agrees to take on her challenge to fight for their future. Deirdre salutes Marcus and calls out to him with a cup of coffee the next morning. Marcus, on the other hand, shrugs her off and warns her not to approach him with a cup in her hand. Deirdre apologizes. It wasn't deliberate to demand it. Marcus talks about how he missed out on a chance to work in his dream job and how his fiancée thinks he's a loser, feeling defeated. Deirdre, consoling him, demands that he isn't a failure. She gladly shares her own goals, for example, planning housetop gardens, just to be met with Marcus deriding giggling, guaranteeing it's anything but a genuine work. Deirdre hurt. In a fit of rage, Deirdre declares to him that he does not merit her apology, tosses the coffee in the trash, and then leaves. Deirdre is later found lost in thought on the couch in her own home. Shauna and Bryce come in at that exact moment and give her a playful salute. Deirdre is delighted when Shauna announces that Bryce will be making lasagna. Shauna inquires about Deirdre's ongoing project when she approaches him. Deirdre certainly affirms that she is chipping away at something near her heart, without any designs to sell it, permitting her to uninhibitedly plan and make however she sees fit. Shauna then inquires about Deirdre's meeting with Marcus, but Deirdre reminisces about his impolite remarks about her life's passion and how he no longer looks like a cute suit. Deirdre and Shauna have a good time as a result of Bryce's clever comment about nicknames, which lightens the mood. In the meantime, tension can be felt between Marcus and Wendy as they sit at the dinner table. Marcus communicates his endorsement of Wendy selling the Reinhardt place, to which she answers with appreciation for the commission. After that, Wendy inquires about his involvement in the upcoming project, to which he responds that he has prepared the groundwork, but Valencia will be presenting. Marcus feels frustrated when Wendy says that it's probably for the best, but she quickly adds that Valencia will do her best. Valencia and Marcus discuss the meeting in the office the following day in the morning. Marcus carefully makes sure that all that on their rundown is coordinated and prepared, and he then, at that point, shares his examination discoveries. He says that the couple they're meeting wants a rustic wedding, but Valencia cuts him off and says they want a small, natural wedding with 5-star service. Not long after, they head off to the gathering, anxious to dazzle their clients. The meticulously planned theme for Gwendolyn and Cameron Valencia's wedding is displayed in the presentation room alongside the couple. They savor the delectable cake, sip on the exquisite wine, and marvel at the exquisite glasses and decorations to the last speck. Valencia and Marcus put their best foot forward with the intention of impressing their customers with their flawless planning and meticulous attention to detail. And as Valencia wraps up her presentation, she waits with bated breath to catch a glimpse of the couple's excitement. However, sadly, they appear to be uninterested, desiring something that genuinely mirrors their energy and point of view on life. Valencia can feel a great deal of stress coursing through her body. As she and her team are determined to fulfill the couple's desires, she hastily reassures them, her words brimming with passion. However, the couple persists, expressing their desire for a more natural arrangement. A growing sense of overwhelm threatens to consume Valencia. Marcus, who has been quietly observing the presentation throughout, smiles warmly and confidently at this point. He paints a breathtaking picture with his words and suggests a rooftop garden, which piques the couple's interest. As they imagine the possibilities, their faces light up with wonder and delight. As he continues to weave his words into a vivid tapestry, Marcus takes a seat, sparking excitement in the couple. Marcus confidently confirms that it will be ready in just 6 weeks when they eagerly inquire about the timeline. Valencia turns to Marcus to get his thoughts as the happy couple heads out the door, excitedly anticipating their dream wedding. She says that there isn't actually a rooftop garden there. Marcus keeps not entirely set in stone as he shares his thought and vows to deal with it. He is reminded by Valencia of the short deadline and that failing is not an option. Before rushing off to the coffee shop, Marcus assures her that everything is under control. Mark rushes toward Deirdre, the mastermind behind the rooftop garden project. As she leaves the coffee shop, apologizing profusely, he explains that he wasn't trying to hurt her feelings but was upset. Marcus sincerely agrees with Deirdre's initial assessment that he is mean and a jerk, and he apologizes. Deirdre accepts his apology once more, which is surprising. Marcus then excitedly reveals that he has secured her a job related to her project. Deirdre is shocked that he made the pitch without talking with her, yet Marcus admits that the thought came to him. Suddenly, Deirdre invites him to follow her out of curiosity. Marcus is awestruck as they reach Deirdre's house rooftop. He considers this to be a once-in-a-lifetime chance for the two of them to make a wedding exhibition for an eminent couple. Deirdre, however, admits that she has never worked on a project of this magnitude and expresses stress. Because he had assumed Deirdre to have a lot of experience, Marcus can feel his disappointment. He is about to leave, thinking that he will lose his job and needs to tell his employer about it, but Deirdre stops him and says they will work together to make it happen. They exchange handshakes, united in their resolve to meet the challenge. Deirdre, Marcus, and Jacob get together in the following scene to talk about the project and the upcoming presentation that needs to be given the next day. They share their dreams for the plan, each endeavoring to contribute their best. Marcus delivers a few papers from his pocket, and as he peruses from them, he unhesitatingly pronounces that this will be his methodology for the show. Jacob and Deirdre, on the other hand, appear uninterested. Deirdre gives Marcus advice after she thinks his speech is bad and tells him to speak from the heart and love in his words. Marcus talks about love after taking some time to think about it. He emphasizes, speaking from the heart, that true love can accomplish anything and that love blooms like flowers in the right circumstances and with the right person. Deirdre says with a grin that this is the best way to give the presentation and encourages him. Marcus, Deirdre, and Jacob present the project on the following day. As they wrap up, the couple is stunned by the tender loving care and the aggregate endeavors they have placed in. Marcus and Deirdre express their agreement, and Valencia thanks them for their work and asks them to keep bringing the design to life before leaving. Deirdre and Marcus exchange congratulatory glances shortly thereafter. Deirdre asks Marcus and Jacob to arrange flowers and plants in the following scene on the rooftop. She begins to explain their significance, pointing out that a wishing well is needed as a focal point, which she believes is lacking. Marcus excuses the thought as platitude and uncovers that he didn't structure it, leaving Deirdre confused. She argues that it would enhance the romantic atmosphere of the location by depicting couples making wishes for their future together. In any case, Marcus intrudes, snickering as he uncovers that his life partner picked her own wedding band and concluded he would propose to her at her number 1 cafe, leaving Deirdre confused. Insisting that genuine love still exists, Jacob gently takes Deirdre's hand before laying her down and turning her around. Deirdre then pulls together their consideration on the main job, requesting that Marcus and Jacob get to work. Marcus wonders if they are truly capable of carrying out the task on their own after they bring out the necessary supplies. Deirdre consoles him, demanding that they should transform the venture. Marcus admits that the last time he utilized a drill, he coincidentally broke his grandma's container. Deirdre, on the other hand, gives him another chance to learn by showing him how to use the hammer with precision. Marcus follows her instructions and uses the hammer successfully. Deirdre, Marcus, and Jacob get down to work with the project plan in hand. In preparation for the big day, they plant the flowers and arrange the plants. Her gaze falls upon Marcus with unwavering determination and passion as Deirdre labors away, and her eyes sparkle with admiration. Deirdre realizes that she has never seen Marcus in his usual suit. Their gazes are locked. However, Marcus laughs and tells her that she can still call him adorable. Deirdre is surprised and wonders how he knew she meant it that way. Maya was shy and blushing when the owner of the coffee shop mentioned how well cut his suits were, otherwise, she wouldn't pay attention. Valencia comes in as they are working and keeps an eye on them, encouraging them to finish by the deadline. Marcus approaches Deirdre to request the return of her tools after the initial tasks have been completed, and she expresses her gratitude. Deirdre conveys to Marcus and Jacob with grace that they will resume their duties tomorrow. Deirdre meets Shauna and her boyfriend Bryce throughout the day, and they eagerly inquire about her whereabouts. Deirdre reveals her plan to work with Marcus and meet on the rooftop, where they can further refine their creative endeavor, with a radiant smile. Shauna inquires about their coworker Jacob, to which Deirdre responds that he is handling vendor negotiations due to his lack of experience with manual labor. She then immediately ascends to the rooftop, where Marcus joins her, preparing flowers and plants is what they do. Deirdre acknowledges Marcus's diligent efforts and insatiable appetite for learning in response to Marcus's comment that Deirdre is making progress toward her dreams. Marcus, wearing a weak grin, minimizes his job as a simple right hand, as though reluctant to acknowledge the honors. In any case, Deirdre, with faithful certainty, empowers him, confirming that his ongoing position is just a venturing stone, and that he will clearly rise to the sought-after job of an occasion organizer eventually. She goes on to talk about the possibility of Marcus working on his own wedding. Just thinking about it makes Marcus look at her with a contemplative look, making him briefly unable to speak. Deirdre, with her keen eyes, rapidly sees Marcus' abrupt change in attitude and burns through no time and inquisitive, assuming something is wrong. Mark opens up, admitting that his once satisfying relationship with Wendy has soured because he is unable to keep his inner turmoil to himself any longer. He reveals that Wendy, a successful real estate agent who is known for her flawless advertisements, cannot comprehend marrying a mere assistant. To facilitate what is happening, Deirdre and Marcus energetically stack espresso paper cups and throw folded papers at them. They continue their evening with laughter and treasured memories as Marcus emerges victorious. Wendy enters the coffee shop the following day, where Deirdre is diligently working. As she calls out to Maya and begins praising Marcus for his hard work and leadership abilities. Deirdre's eyes light up with recognition, prompting Wendy to join in. Wendy moves toward the counter to submit her espresso request, asking Deirdre how she knows Marcus, and she quickly perceives her as his co-partner. Citing Marcus as a friend, Deirdre insists on paying for Wendy's coffee and even makes another cup for him. As she sets out to deliver the steaming cup of coffee to Marcus, Wendy shows her appreciation by cradling it in her delicate hand. She feels a surge of joy as she reaches Marcus and is embraced by him with a rush of warmth. Maya and Deirdre watch the conversation, spotting the genuine connection that exists between Marcus and Wendy. Deirdre suggests that love is frequently like that, requiring effort and occasionally coworker intervention to bridge gaps. Maya concurs, adding that love, as Deirdre has demonstrated, brings out the best in others. Admiring Marcus's leadership, Marcus and Wendy exchange pleasantries about work with Wendy. With a warm smile, Marcus says it's a sign that he has been working hard. As she marvels at its beauty, Deirdre's eyes widen in awe, and Marcus chuckles and suggests that they purchase some lights for the upcoming party. As he gets closer to Deirdre, Marcus tells Deirdre how happy he is that he can tell Wendy about their project. Deirdre smiles, realizing that both he and Wendy should be proud of him. Marcus, on the other hand, agrees with Wendy that it's never a good idea to be too proud of one's work because it can make you feel complacent. Deirdre thinks he's joking at first, but she's surprised when she realizes he's serious. With a grin on his face and a sense of accomplishment, Marcus looks at her. He gives her credit where credit is due because he has finally tasted the sweet taste of career advancement. It was her unintentional spill of espresso on him that set off a chain of occasions, driving him to get a sledge and leave on a groundbreaking roof garden project. They parted with a smile as the night came to an end, enjoying each other's company. The morning sun rises, projecting its warm sparkle into Deirdre's comfortable home. She sits on her sofa, daydreaming, when unexpectedly her telephone rings. She is taken aback by Janice's voice on the other end, who makes an unexpected offer of a permanent position with them and expresses admiration for Deirdre's design. Deirdre hesitates, unsure of how to express her feelings because she was taken aback and caught off guard. However, Janice interrupts with unwavering confidence, aware of Deirdre's exceptional talent despite her persistent pursuit. Janice ends the call with a gracious farewell and promises to send the necessary paperwork before Deirdre can even respond, leaving Deirdre in awe and perplexed about what just transpired. Shauna, who has been silently watching, gives Deirdre her heartfelt congratulations and encourages her to take advantage of the opportunity that has presented itself. As she considers the pivotal decision that will affect her entire life, Deirdre's thoughts race, torn between excitement and fear. She says that she has already sold the design to Sky Gardens, but Shauna doesn't give up and tells her that she should take advantage of this opportunity. Deirdre says that because Janice wants exclusivity, she can't sell the same design to multiple places. At last, she chooses to attempt to examine options with Sky Nurseries. Deirdre says that she will talk to Marcus about the matter before making a decision. However, Shauna tells her not to let Marcus influence or control her decision, reminding her that he is just a co-worker who is engaged. Yet Deirdre counters by saying that Marcus isn't simply a collaborator, yet in addition a companion. Deirdre and Marcus work hard in the following scene, sweat glistening on their brows, while Jacob stands by and does nothing. Deirdre, her understanding fading, beseeches Jacob to participate and assist. However, Jacob disregards the request because he has a plethora of vendors to call. Deirdre then turns to Marcus and requests that he modify the lattices. Despite his admiration for the current design, Marcus refuses to acknowledge Valencia's praise. He explains that there is no room for adjustments because the budget is already stretched thin. Deirdre gives in, disheartened, claiming that she is only thinking of ideas. Jacob intervenes and exhorts them all to stop and stretch their aching bodies. Deirdre concurs, yet just relying on the prerequisite that Jacob helps her prune the wild shoots from the wisteria. After some to and fro, Jacob at long last yields, and they participate. Jacob approaches Marcus later, back at the office, where he is diligently completing his work. Marcus remarks on Jacob for playing with Wendy, advising him that the wedding is not far off. Jacob energetically insults Marcus, blaming him for holding on to desire in his heart. Jacob persists, urging Marcus to offer his soul to Deirdre or even to Wendy herself, despite Marcus's fervent refutation of the claim. Wendy suddenly shows up to inquire about their conversation. Overlooking the inquiry, Marcus and Jacob trade merriments with Wendy. Wendy reveals that she has reserved a table at Chez Derrick for Marcus and herself, but Marcus declines because he has work to do and Jacob has a lot to do in the garden. Wendy accepts Marcus' suggestion that they go to the studio together to get some supplies. Wendy makes the observation as they enter the studio that Marcus would benefit greatly from the chance to demonstrate his abilities at the upcoming wedding. He wonders if she's trying to sell Gwendolyn something. This is refuted by Wendy, who inquires whether Marcus and Gwendolyn are considering entering the market and asserts that she never considered it, as he reminds Wendy that the wedding is meant to be a sacred occasion and not a chance for her to use it as a business opportunity. Marcus's anger grows to boiling point. In an effort to be encouraging, Wendy expresses delight at Marcus's decision to finally do something with his life. Disappointed, Marcus inquires if she is proud of him. Wendy hesitates before responding, stating that pride is irrelevant and that having someone to push him forward is what really matters. Marcus responds that he never asked for her to keep pushing him, which irritates him. Wendy approaches him, admitting her exhaustion and continuously being the help of saying that she can't continue to make it happen. Marcus admits his exhaustion at the constant struggle to meet Wendy's expectations as he bares his soul. Marcus gently inquires about Wendy's own longings as she draws closer, but her response is silenced and accompanied by a deep sigh. Marcus comes to terms with the fact that both he and Wendy deserve more in that moment. And with a heavy heart, he bids her goodbye, knowing that their relationship has ended. Marcus realizes that he has been living a masquerade for years, wearing a mask and pretending to be someone he is not. Deirdre and her team were on the rooftop next, busy checking on the ongoing project when Janice called. Suddenly, she lost her focus. Deirdre takes a confused pause to answer the phone, leaving Jacob to approach Marcus. Marcus is informed by Jacob, encouraged, that if he doesn't ask Deirdre out, he will. Marcus delays, considering their colleague status, yet Jacob advises him that she will not be their collaborator tomorrow. Marcus' uncertainty is pierced by Jacob's gentle reminder after the event, like a ray of sunshine on a cloudy day, but he remains silent as Deirdre wraps up her phone call. Preparing to resume their conversation, she turns. She mentions her mother's casual calls, but Jacob interrupts with the confession before she can say anything else. He admits to being drawn to her. Deirdre is taken aback, and as she tries to process Jacob's sudden revelation, she briefly loses her breath. Jacob encourages her to take her time and consider his offer with a playful smile. She reluctantly accepts his invitation after a brief pause of hesitation. Her heart reviving with expectation, and as the two of them return to their errands, Marcus looks confounded and irritated. Bryce joins Deirdre and Shauna at their home later that evening. Deirdre tells Janice that she called and wants to meet her tomorrow, the wedding day. She specifies she'll meet Janice in the first part of the prior day, surging off to Sky Nurseries for the last arrangement. Shauna inquires as to whether she rolled out any improvements to the venture, however Deirdre uncovers she proved unable. Shauna mentions Deirdre's happiness since working on the project, and Deirdre concurs, expressing her joy at being compensated for her true passion. Bryce energetically recommends that Deirdre additionally enjoys Marcus, yet Deirdre excuses it, referencing his commitment. Deirdre is left lost in her thoughts when Bryce responds that the heart does not always follow these rules. Valencia emerges from her office, ready to head home, while Marcus stays late at the office in a subsequent scene. Concerned, she inquires as to whether he's okay. Valencia, who congratulates Marcus, is taken aback when he reveals that he and Wendy have broken up. She accepts they were never implied for one another, and that Marcus is out of Wendy's break. Marcus asks for an explanation with a curious smile. Valencia reveals that she hired him for his intelligence and hard work, qualities that Wendy never valued, so their breakup ought to be good news. Marcus is left in contemplation as she then leaves. Deirdre finally admits her feelings for Marcus during a conversation she has with Shauna about him. She believes she ought to tell him the truth about her conversation with Rooftop Dreams. Nonetheless, Shauna alerts her that raising the subject could worry Marcus and even influence her vocation, particularly with Valencia included. Bryce concurs with Shauna's recommendation and desires Deirdre to seek after her enthusiasm and difficult work first. Then, at that point, she can converse with Marcus about her sentiments, leaving Deirdre torn, scrutinizing her choices. On the day of the wedding the following day, there is a flurry of activity, as everyone rushes around to put the finishing touches on everything. With a furrowed brow, Marcus searches for Deirdre frantically and calls her multiple times, but her phone is off and she remains elusive. As he anxiously awaits her, frustration and rage rise within him. Marcus is unaware that Deirdre is at the enchanting Rooftop Dreams meeting with Janice. Although she shows Janice her most recent creations, despite her admiration for their beauty, Janice longs for Deirdre's initial concept when they first met. As she hands over the original designs and explains that she had already sold them to Sky Gardens when Janice initially rejected them, Deirdre's mind is clouded with confusion. She had only created new designs to take advantage of the chance to work with Janice and please everyone. Janice is surprised by her sincerity, and she admits that she regrets not accepting the project from the beginning and that Deirdre has improved. Deirdre rushes to the rooftop of the wedding venue, where Marcus is waiting, after realizing their loss. He accuses her of being absent since morning and laments that everything is in disarray, clearly frustrated. Deirdre makes sense of that she was in a meeting with Roof Dreams, which just adds to Marcus' outrage as he feels she deserted him to get ready for her next work, blaming her for continuously contemplating herself and her own profession. Deirdre storms off in the heat, ignoring Marcus's calls. Shauna is startled when Marcus enters from the fire escape on Deirdre's rooftop as the scene shifts. He admits to being harsh with Deirdre and she raises questions about his presence. Shauna revealed earlier that Deirdre was deeply remorseful for his behavior when she revealed that she had turned down a full-time offer from Rooftop Dreams due to her commitment to Sky Gardens and to him. Marcus promises not to use the fire escape when he asks Shauna if he can enter the apartment. Marcus enters with a glimmer of an idea in his eyes after Shauna agrees. Deirdre, on the other hand, sits in the park trying to organize her thoughts. Emotions run wild in her head. Janice receives an envelope from Marcus in the following scene. Deirdre's confidential design for her secret project is revealed when she gently opens it. Deirdre expresses her eagerness to work with Janice and praises Deirdre's intelligence and creativity with a hint of admiration in Marcus's words. The designs leave Janice speechless. Her lips were smiling. Afterward, Marcus approaches Deirdre as she accumulates blossoms, communicating his amazement at the staggering arrangement. He professes his joy at knowing her and working with her while sincerely apologizing for his previous actions. In response, Deirdre expresses regret and thanks him for bringing the wish well. In a vulnerable way, Marcus acknowledges that he desires more love in his life. Valencia unexpectedly enters with Jacob and announces that everything is now in place. Jacob communicates alleviation that Marcus has appeared, uncovering his concern when he had vanished. Valencia is shocked, befuddled by the circumstance. Marcus makes an effort to explain, but Jacob comes in and suggests that Deirdre has also been absent, leaving Marcus to handle everything on his own. Valencia inquires as to whether this has been the case throughout the project. Notwithstanding, Deirdre and Marcus are amazed by Jacob's way of behaving and deny his allegations. Deirdre responds to Jacob's persistent inquiry about her morning Rooftop Dreams interview, but Marcus steps in to support Deirdre and ease the tension. Valencia praises the excellence of the arrangement, expressing that all matters to her. Jacob, with an evil look, is disappointed with Valencia's reaction. However, Deirdre nonchalantly gets some information about a Bloom's name trying to cut him down. Jacob, unable to respond, stammers and asserts that he is unfamiliar with the scientific names. As a reason, Deirdre and Jacob are left alone after Marcus gives Valencia a tour of the garden and laughs. Deirdre smiles and politely declines Jacob's awkward question about whether or not they will continue their date. With its adorned flowers and glimmering lights, the rooftop garden is now a stunning sight that resembles a heavenly oasis. As the couple walks down the aisle, they exchange sincere speeches and make promises of love and happiness. After kissing the bride, the groom places the ring on her finger. Deirdre and Marcus watch in delight as the evening draws to a close amid raucous applause from the audience. The party comes to life with laughter and music. Deirdre and Marcus dance with grace on the dance floor, perfectly synchronizing their steps with the music. Valencia and Jacob, a married couple whose smiles reflect the joy of the moment, join them. Gwendolyn and Cameron approach Deirdre and Marcus, expressing their sincere gratitude for making their wedding day so memorable and attending to all of their needs. They glide back to the center of the dance floor, swaying to the lilting melody with grateful hearts. Valencia comes up to them shortly thereafter with admiring eyes. She gives them acclaim for their fantastic accomplishments, and Marcus, ever unobtrusive, redirects the commendation to Deirdre, his accomplice in progress. Valencia, on the other hand, reveals a shocking fact by accident. She offers Marcus a promotion to manager instead because she is unable to keep Marcus as her assistant. Deirdre and Marcus are surprised. their demeanors transforming into a combination of shock and doubt. As he mumbles his sincere thanks, Marcus's eyes sparkle with excitement and his heart beats faster. Valencia. They are left stunned but exhilarated as she gracefully disappears, leaving them with a vision of grace that inspires them to enjoy the remainder of the evening. Deirdre congratulates Marcus following her unexpected offer, and he thanks her for her unwavering support. Marcus grabs Deirdre by the hand and quickly leads her back to the dance floor. They are lost in the moment and sway slowly. Marcus trusts in Deirdre, glad for his accomplishments, and she encourages him to call and impart the news to Wendy. However, Marcus reveals that he and Wendy have broken up and are no longer connected. Deirdre gets a message from Janice from Rooftop Dreams at that exact moment, when she learns that they are prepared to purchase her design and bring it to life, just as she had envisioned. Her heart swells with emotion. Deirdre is perplexed because she had already sold Sky Events her design. Marcus then admits that he had sent Janice her mystery project, contacted Indeed. Deirdre extends her gratitude to Marcus, who expresses his pride in her. Marcus jokingly asks Deirdre if the wishing well will make them fall in love as they get closer to one another. She welcomes him closer and they share a long, enthusiastic kiss, fixing their affections for one another. The movie ends with an overwhelming sense of joy and happiness. Life's surprising exciting bends in the road have united Deirdre and Marcus, a demonstration of the capricious magnificence of life's excursion.